What is good, NIO family? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one I'm going to be talking about the one and only NIO stock and what you should be looking after for the future. I'm also going to do some in-depth technical analysis, give you guys my price prediction for the future, and break down why I believe NIO is set for some bullish price action. Now, before I break anything down, before I get into any more details, I do have to mention a couple of things before starting. Firstly, I'm not a financial planner, so don't take any of this as financial advice whatsoever. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire NIO community as a whole. And the last things, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull, the link down below, and deposit any amount of money into the account, you're guaranteed up to 12 free stocks, each worth up to $2,000. And the best part is any of these 12 free stocks could be a free NIO share, a free Tesla share, or a mix of all of them. It's a limited time offer. The offer ends in just one day. Check it out before they run out. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. Looking at NIO, this thing was down about 2.91% for the day. It's a little bit red in the after hours too. And overall, we are starting to see NIO actually get a nice balance, and we start to push up after that big drop. Now, zooming out of the charts, you guys can see this right here. So NIO came down pretty hard, right, a couple of days ago, right, with the whole news that came out. I'm sure you guys remember that, with the things that were announced by the Chinese government. Then what happened was we got a big bounce and we started to push up and we came very close to filling this gap. We didn't actually fully fill the gap yet, though. That's something very important to note. So then we had this other gap down here, and I mentioned this in my previous video that I could see NIO coming down to fill the gap. We filled the gap. And what tends to happen after we fill these gaps is we get a nice bounce, and that is what ended up happening to NIO. So looking at this overall formation, it is resembling what I kind of like see as a Wyckoff accumulation schematic in a way. We're seeing lots of funds kind of accumulate in this range. There was heavy shorting way back there, but some shorts are incentivized to start covering parts of their positions and allowing this thing to start pushing up. We do have another gap. We have another one. Where is it? Like all the way up here around that 10.8 range. I do think if NIO gets a clean break above 10, we could start to fill the gaps to the upside. And I think the overall market is starting to push up. So why was NIO red today when the market was actually green? Well, we saw news like this come out. All right, we're seeing more and more of these lockdowns in Shanghai, and this is having a very negative effect on demand and output for many big businesses. And this is very important because now we're seeing this have an effect on the entire market collectively. So, with this happening, with us seeing these big effects on the market, it is causing investors to become very apprehensive because now we're wondering what's going to happen to NIO's earnings for the future. Are they going to be able to produce more cars? Will the lockdowns become worse in Shanghai? It could have an effect on them, but as of right now, there's no indication of it. Now, the market is artificially being propped up just like this time frame right here. This does not mean that for November and December, we're going to like all-time highs. We could see a big reversal and coming back down. But for the short term, approaching the month of November and the midterm elections, it's very possible for the market to continue pushing up for the short term. Look at NIO compared to the market's starting to push up right here. NIO, however, is kind of lagging behind. We are showing some weakness in the price pairs ratio, but I still believe that there are signs that it's getting ready for a big reversal. Now, it's also important to note that on Mondays, NIO tends to be green about 49% of the time. And also, there was that spike in the short interest is starting to come down a bit, which is showing signs that the shorts are starting to slowly lose the edge in the stock and it's slowly showing some life. When it comes to the news, we also saw this news come out as NIO Power Swap offers an ultimate and exclusive power swap service. It only takes about 3 minutes to swap a fully charged battery, so very, very awesome to hear. So with that said, guys, we still have great pieces of news coming out. The only thing that could really in my opinion, like slow down the market big time would be the FOMC meeting, which is starting next week. So this could be the big trigger for a potential reversal, but it really depends on what's announced. So I'm not saying that this will cause a reversal and the market starts dropping. Historically, this does tend to happen, but not always. And maybe the Fed is going to kind of like slow down on the amount that they're actually raising rates. Maybe they give us a 50 basis point hike. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see, but it really depends on the Fed. But until then, it looks like the market's going to pump approaching FOMC. And from what I'm seeing the artificial pumps, we have a lot of room for more potential upside. We saw the next leg. I think SPY could get a nice break above that 390 zone. Tesla also showing some strength where we're holding up, we're showing some signs of consolidation in this range. We came down a bit, we got a nice bounce, and we appear to be approaching that 230 zone. If we break past that, there's lots of room for upside. That could also help NIO in my opinion, NIO was lagging behind, but I think that NIO has momentum to push up more, and we're going to see NIO above $10 very soon and hopefully start to fill the gaps to the upside. So that's essentially what I have for this video, guys. Please enjoy the remainder of your weekend. I also want to note something else that's important from a technical aspect of NIO. To end the video, let's actually look at some more technical indicators. For the short term, look at NIO. It's just been getting hammered down and down and down. I've often been talking about this big downside. However, despite seeing so much downside, a stock can't just drop forever. Eventually, there has to be a spike or a reversal. And I do believe over the next few months, NIO is going to start to find a bottom and start to pivot and start pushing up very, very soon. It's not going to take forever, guys. You just have to be patient when it comes to moves like this. As far as the volume goes, what's interesting was NIO was actually dropping on relatively low volume. It wasn't super hard. It did get very hard on one of those days when we had the big announcements that were made by China, which involves like politics and things like that. Don't want to go into too many details. But anyways, the point is the volume is still okay. It's not necessarily that great. And I'm hoping for a big increase in volume and a nice reversal from there. So you could argue that we have like our ultimate bottom here where we pushed up, we came down again as a retracement, not necessarily a reversal, and we're set for more upside, and we're going to slowly make some higher lows. I'm hoping for that on NIO. As far as other indicators go, let me just pull up a couple of them, and let me just do this real quick. So what I'm essentially seeing from another standpoint would be looking at the 1348. So far, NIO's been downtrending. The EMAs are still spread pretty widely, but the MACD is showing signs of a crossover, which is often a sign that momentum is switching in favor of the bulls. RSI is still oversold. NIO is oversold at 28 on the RSI, which is often a sign that reversals are imminent. Now, are the EMAs showing it? EMAs tend to be kind of like lagging indicators, so they're not going to show it immediately, but I do believe NIO is set to kind of curl a bit and maybe push up a little bit for the time being. So I want to see these EMAs get a little bit tighter, which would show signs of a potential crossover to the upside. We are currently treating, let me see on the 5 minutes. Is it showing? No, it's not showing that. Anyways, we are showing a nice bounce. And I think on a bigger time frame, I'm not sure if it's the 2 hour or the daily. I think on the daily is the best time frame to use for this. On the daily, NIO is treating the 5 EMA as resistance. So I want to see NIO break above that. And after that, we do have more upside to make it to the 10.8 level. So that's what I'm going to be watching for NIO, a clean break above 10. Very possible. From a technical standpoint, a reversal does seem imminent. It's also going to depend on the markets, but I do think that being oversold, NIO has a lot of potential on its side. With that said and done, I'm hoping for some bullish moves for next week, guys. So please remain calm, cool, and collected. Do what you have to do and what's best for your portfolios. And I'll see you guys in the next one. NIO to the moon because the long-term future is incredibly bright. And peace out.